What is science? Why is it important? And what does it do for me? These are important questions because science has a tremendous impact on our everyday lives. It influences our communication, our transportation, the food we eat, what we drink, even our politics and our outlook on life. Together we're going to be exploring these questions and others in a series of short, informative videos where we're going to be examining the influence of science on society. My name is Stephen Myers. I'm an adjunct professor of physical science at St. Petersburg College. So the first question, what is science? That's actually a little bit unfair because science is more of a how than a what. Science is a method of finding natural explanations for the phenomena that we see in the world around us. Science is subject to certain guiding principles. The first of these is that no scientific idea is above criticism. All scientific ideas can be tested, they can be revised, even thrown away, depending upon the results of further observation. This leads to a second guiding principle, is that scientific ideas must be testable. All scientific ideas must be subject to further scrutiny by other scientists. I know when I come up with an idea, I may publish it in a peer-reviewed journal, and then it goes through an evaluation by other scientists, and they look at the methods, they look at the techniques that we use, they look at the kind of data that we're examining, and they look at our results to see if it makes sense and how it fits in with the results of other scientists. Here's an example. Many years ago, people thought the Earth was flat. Now, some people thought it might be round, like a baseball, but many people thought it was flat. And there was a good reason for this, because they could see the large ships when they sail off into the distance. They get to a certain point and then they disappear. Now, did they fall off the edge of the Earth? Well, maybe, because a lot of those ships never came back. Right? And then Columbus sailed from Europe, trying to find a pathway to India. But instead he stumbled into the American continent. And when he came back to Europe, the idea that the Earth was actually round gained much wider acceptance. Now let's look at an example of what science is not. And we're going to take the particular example of astrology. And I'm going to give you two reasons why astrology is not a science. One, the ideas of astrology go back thousands of years. They really haven't changed much. And that's because rigorous testing and evaluation of astrological predictions have either been ignored or completely rejected by its practitioners. And two, when those predictions have been subject to testing, and they have, scientists have not just completely dismissed it, they actually have looked at it carefully, is that the predictions of astrology have turned out to be no better than random chance. So for example, I could say Aquarius is going to have a stressful day at work. Well, lots of people have stressful days at work. I have stressful days at work. Right? If you're Aquarius, you may remember somebody telling you that, and they're going to think, oh yeah, well they predicted it, so they may be right. But it really is no better than random chance. Another thing about science is that it's never complete. All good scientific ideas raise new questions. They raise new issues. There are further details to be worked out. And some people find this a reason to reject science. And let me give you a little example. When Isaac Newton came up with this theory of gravity, it revolutionized many things. He was able to explain the orbits of the planets. He was able to explain the pathways of comets in space. He was able to explained the results of Galileo, who looked at falling objects near the surface of the Earth. All these things came from his theory, but he never explained where gravity came from. This is a huge question that remained. It didn't mean that his theory was wrong, it just meant that there were other questions remaining. And today we see this. We see a lot of denigration of scientists and science by some politicians and opinion makers. Right? And I'm thinking right now of the issues related to climate change and the threat of human-induced global warming. And there's other issues as well, the age of the Earth, the age of the universe, the origin of the universe. Many things remain controversial to this day. Now, just because science is incomplete or is still in development doesn't mean it's wrong. Right? Now, when we're looking at these issues, in particular some of these issues that I just mentioned, they've come up with really wonderful results. Right? Results that make me personally feel very positive and hopeful for the future as science continues to influence the development of our society and our culture.